Everyone, welcome to another episode of Authentic Conversation. This is episode number 4. The title of this episode is How Tapping Healed My Chronic Pain. And I'm here with Elissa, originally from the US. Currently, she's been living in Australia. I'm going to let her share more of her story, but I'm happy to have her here with me today. Welcome, Elissa.
Hello, Ryan. Thank you for having me. It's an
Yeah,
honor.
we got 11 hours apart. We made it. Here's our podcast. It's
You.
going to be awesome. Very excited to have this authentic conversation with you. So Alyssa and I, we met via my partner, Tamara. Tamara and her did a retreat in Peru together. Am I correct? Yeah, Peru.
Yes, we did December 2023, almost a
Nearly
year
a year
ago.
ago, right? Crazy.
Wow.
So then Alyssa was putting it out there for her to, she was looking for people to practice EFT on, which we're going to go into deeper today. And so I volunteered and did 2 sessions with her, which I highly benefited from and I loved and I enjoyed. And then I've come back to her later. We've stayed in contact. I support everything that she's doing and
Thank you.
helping herself and others along the way on her journey. So I'm going to pass it over to Alyssa. I want her to speak a lot more than me on this episode, which I've told her. So pass it over to you, Alyssa. Let's do a little icebreaker. And I did this last episode, but what's one thing that you're grateful for today? And then if you could share more about what's brought you to EFT, and then kind of more about your journey from chronic pain and out through the emotional freedom technique.
Yes, no worries. My pleasure. So
Gratitude.
straight away, yeah, I'm most grateful for my husband. We've been together 24 years. And yeah, like any relationship, it's good times and tough times. And yeah, he's amazing. He's my rock. His name's Mark, and my nickname for him is Mark Guyver because yeah,
Mark.
he's my own, yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
Love it.
yeah. So I'm very grateful for him. And yeah, so EFT tapping. So yeah, where would you like me to begin?
Well, what's I guess your journey that led you up to that point, whatever you'd like to say about yourself. This is really, these authentic conversations are just trying to share more, hear more stories from those in holistic health, right? Mind, body, and spirit. So maybe like your brush with that up
Mhm.
into you met up with EFT, I guess,
Yeah, yeah,
by
yeah,
other
yeah,
people,
yeah,
like how you're
yeah,
introduced to it is a better way of putting it. Like
yeah.
maybe your holistic journey or lack of balance, these kind of things, and then how EFT was there for you when you really were at a very low point in your life.
Sure. Well, I guess I'd start from I've been on this personal development journey for the last 10 years. Yeah, and it started with my chronic pain, I must admit. So, my son's 13, and the chronic pain sort of kicked in um, once I finished breastfeeding. So maybe after he was a year born or so. And I thought maybe it was hormonal. So I went and saw my obstetrician, and he thought maybe it was due to the failed forceps. I had quite a traumatic birth story. But I was aiming for the natural birth, but a C-section had to occur. And lucky it did because he had the cord wrapped around his throat. So it was a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
But when I met with him after the birth and said, I've got this crazy pain, it's burning, itching. His recommendation was a hysterectomy, and just something inside me screamed no. So I thanked him for his advice, and went searching for help elsewhere. And my GP, my general practitioner, recommended me to a specialist in Newcastle. And she tried all kinds of special creams because it was burny, itchy. Pretty much felt like a yeast infection without any discharge. Hope that's not too much information. Um, but
No, but it shows what your body was going through, right? Like it was in a
yeah,
state of ill health. It wasn't feeling great, right? You're
oh,
everything
it
in,
was awful.
yeah.
Yeah, and it was. daily pain.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, why I'm grateful for my husband. He stuck by me through all this. Yeah, it wasn't easy. And yeah, none of the creams worked. And then they recommended me to get an ultrasound specialist and dry needling. None of that worked. The dry needling was quite painful. We only had 2 sessions and like, no, it's not worth that pain. Although from my experience, I've heard from other people, it doesn't have to be painful. So, um, yeah, so
Yeah.
then after doing that, going back and forth between that doctor for at least a year, then I was recommended to have a laparoscopy, which confirmed I had minor endometriosis. The blessing in disguise for that, I had less painful periods, so that was good. So I used to,
Yeah.
yeah, all through high school, always had to have a sick day at least once a month. Now it's like that did change my world. That was great, but the original pain, was still
Yeah.
there.
Wow.
So I got referred to see the specialist of the specialist in a private hospital in Sydney, a female doctor who wrote the book on female health in Australia, pretty much. So I was like, wow, this is great. And it took some time to get in there. And she was able to help me to numb the pain. So I got on a prescription and I stayed on that for at least a year. Um, and after that, I asked her, "Thank you for helping me. This is great, but I don't wanna be on medication the rest of my life. What can we do about that?" And, she pretty much laughed in my face and said, "I'm so sick of people saying that to me. Why can't you just be happy you're pain-free?" And I was like, "Wow, okay." Um,
Doctor, don't give me that news. Jeez Louise.
yes. Yes, I was like, "Bye." Just so I
Yeah.
never saw her again. So I was quite frustrated at this point. And that's when a friend just recommended me to Allison from happysoul.com. And yeah, she's a registered trained counselor who uses EFT tapping as one of her techniques. And after 3 sessions, my pain, and I went off the medication, by the way. I didn't want to be on it anymore. So
Yeah.
the pain came back once I cut off the medication. 3 sessions with Allison, pain gone and has never been back, and that was, like has been, 5 years ago?
Booyah.
Yeah.
Isn't that ama
So,
what an amazing story.
thank you. Yeah.
There's
So
like this whole sequence of events, right, that lead you to exactly where you needed to be. And if you stopped anywhere along that journey and just accepted that you'd be in chronic pain your whole life or on medication, like you're in chronic
correct.
pain, but you're numbing it, right? Like there's something going on, but it's being numbed in some way as opposed to like it actually being freed from your system.
Yes. Yeah, exactly, and that's what EFT stands for, emotional freedom technique.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
So, thank you. Yeah. So,
So emotional. So there's this emotional component to like the healing, right? And a lot of
yes.
people might only know like, okay, there's something going on with my body. It's physical. It must be like the source must be physical as opposed to what do my emotions have to do with my pain?
Right. Well, yeah,
Big
and it's,
aha when we first discovered this on our journey of personal development,
yeah.
right? My
Yeah, it
emotions can create pain in
right.
my body.
Right, exactly. I just wasn't aware, and probably in fact in denial as well.
Yeah,
To be honest, it's no one's fault. Like, 'cause it's the way we're brought up in society nowadays is, you know, we're taught to suppress, to numb, to toughen up, and that it's not safe to express our emotions, or we're not taught how to process them. So we do this unconsciously. We don't even know we're doing it to some extent. So Um, yeah, with Allison, she was able to help me figure out what emotions I was holding in my body. It turned into, I was holding on to resentment
yeah.
and I didn't even know.
That's heavy to
So,
hold on to.
yeah,
Whew.
yeah, yeah. So she was able to help me free that up, um, and process it, and now I was able to move on.
Yeah,
So it's a beautiful, simple technique. And yes, you have to be open-minded around it. Um, right? If someone thinks it's not going to work for them, well, it's probably not going to work for them. So
but open is the key word. Like moving
yeah,
on, flowing through, it's coming out. If you're resisting in some way, it
yeah,
furthers the suppression. Expression is to push out, right? Not
yes,
push down, not
exactly.
keep it down. I don't want to see it.
Yes,
I
right?
don't want to
Yeah.
face that. I didn't even know
And
that was there. Yeah.
right. And that's okay. If some people aren't ready to do it, that's okay. Like medication is great for some people, and that's okay. Like no judgment at all. And this might be a good time too to put a disclaimer out there that I'm not a trained health professional. I'm currently working on my accreditation because I've loved EFT tapping so much. I thought if
Yeah,
it
and
worked
free
for me,
your
maybe it,
chronic pain. Yeah, it's amazing.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I've had some success with some of my volunteers to, yeah, I've helped people, lessen pain, and, like, I've had a friend that had a lot of eye pain, and yeah, it reduced tremendously, yeah, there's a technique called chasing the pain where, I had a friend quite sore, uh, spot here, and then while we're tapping, it moves, and it was able to just disintegrate, like,
Let's
I
go
just
find it.
right? It's
Yeah.
amazing.
I think what we'll
Mm,
do is, well, not right now in the podcast, but we'll
mm,
have you run me through some tapping, and then
sure.
everyone can get a feel of it. But
Great.
you're putting out there to become. You have not yet become, and you're offering spaces still to help further your skills, correct?
Correct. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
looking for a few more volunteers. So I am registered with EFT International. So I am covered under liability insurance. So I'm all legal. Um, and yeah, my mentor, Allison, with happysoul.com. So happy, HAPPISOUL. Um, if you want to train under someone who is accredited, Allison's fantastic. She's currently in Australia, but about to travel to the UK for a year, which she's originally from there. She's, yeah, amazing. Mm.
But it's a beautiful journey, right? Not only do you find healing, then you're finding different purpose because you're a teacher anyway. So
I am a,
it's
yeah,
another stage of you teaching something different, right? That you've experienced and that has changed your life, which is awesome.
correct.
And then
Yeah. So,
you have like a mentor to be able to continue to learn and to check in with and help you along your journey, which is great. Like, and I think that's important. Like to me, that's authentic as well. You're not just whatever saying you're a healer now or putting yourself out there. Like there's a big responsibility in this space, and this is like part of the disclaimer as well, is right, like everyone's journey is unique and it might involve a combination of things, but it's up to everyone to, it's like to support each other on this path of personal development, on healing and growth, expansion, all these kind of things as well. And we're be more compassionate with each other along the way, and share openly and not try to like claim we can do something we can't, right? Like to me it's I'm a facilitator. If there's a session of healing going on, I'm a facilitator for it to come out naturally with the person that's in front of that's come to me for that help, right? Like open them up. So I think it's great that you're sharing all that openly, and we'll include all that information as well, right? So
correct.
you have a great you have a great support system. You are a great support system, and I want everyone to see how you guide as well a little later on in the podcast. So awesome. Um,
Thank you.
can you speak more about like that transition from okay now 3 sessions healed, and now you're starting some of the maybe what you learned as you were guiding those along this journey that you were just on, right? Like
Yeah.
now you're the one creating the space to help with the healing. and freeing up of emotions. So what are some things that you encountered initially, like the first 10 sessions, maybe the first 10 people that you saw? What are some of the things that that you learned about yourself, learned about the whole EFT healing people? Feel free to
Yeah.
share. That's a big
Yeah.
question, but like whatever you want to share within that space. Like
No, yeah.
the first time where you, okay, now I want to do this.
Yeah, definitely. So, um, so when I work with someone for the first time, I always ask, have you tapped before? And it's 50-50. Um, And so if someone says no, I always do the basic recipe with them first. So we have a chat and discuss what we want to tap about. And the first thing that we're taught to tap with, and I love it because it identifies with me straight away, is do you have any pain in your body? And it could just be a headache or an ache in your body. It doesn't have to be chronic. In fact, that's probably more higher level
Yeah.
skill at the moment. So, and we tap on that first, and we use some statements, and I'll ask the client 3 statements that they're most comfortable to work with, and it's very important to be honest because your body knows when you're lying, so you want to be truthful. So, we either say, "I'm learning to love and accept myself," "I love and accept myself," or "I 100% completely love and accept myself." And I had to start with, I'm learning to love and accept myself. It took me quite a few years to get to 100% completely love and accept myself. And that's okay. Like we're all in different stages. And um, I'm also quite grateful for working with Lisa Deveniza and her work with, it's called awarenesswork.com. I've been working all year with her just to help me free up some of my own baggage or old traumas that have been holding me back and getting rid of some insecurities and just learning how I could hold space for other people. Because a lot of what EFT tapping is listening and having love and compassion for that person. Because most people, you know, um, it's quite difficult to open up some of our, deep core issues. It takes some vulnerability and um,
Trust.
yes, trust for sure. And yeah, so I feel like yeah, very grateful to be on this journey to do that for people because Allison helped me so much that I'm feel the call to help others. Yeah.
Yeah, but this is the ripple effect. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it's exciting because not only, there's just so much EFT tapping can do. So, like, I've helped a friend with her fear of spiders. So, she used to get creeped out just looking at a photo of a spider, but now, after doing one session, um, if she sees a spider from across the room, she can stare at it. She won't want to go near it, but she won't freak out, She won't go off screaming. So I think that's amazing. So
Throwing kids in the path of the spider. Yeah. Yeah, but that's it's a big deal, right? Like to be able
mm,
to, it's not just about, well, there is a pain within that, right? Like fear can be
sure.
its own emotional pain, but how much relief you can give to someone, right? And they don't even
Yeah,
realize, like when you can really truly let go, like that feeling of lightness that you're not carrying this anymore, emotional
yeah,
baggage, pain that accompanies it, the
exactly. And just
mental
the power
the mental
back.
anguish as well, right? That you get used
Yeah,
to.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And
Freedom.
there's freedom. Exactly. Exactly. Freedom.
Freedom. Yeah. But I
Yeah.
think this is it's important. Like, the your personal development is helping anyone that you're holding space for. I think that's like it was great because you defined holding space, like being able to listen, being able to be there for the other person, right? Like there's no selfish intentions when you're holding space. Like you're there to receive whatever might come out and, guide along the way and there and in between and back again if need be, right?
Exactly.
So like your personal development really, it will help you continue to be better, if you just relied on what you knew or what you started with, and then that's it. You're kind of you're not being in as much service as you can be, right?
Definitely. Well, yeah, I mean, so just to back up the truck a little bit, like, so I've been a high school teacher for the last 18 years, and I feel like, um, yeah, I'm ready to progress from helping teenagers to helping anyone from all ages. So, um, yeah, like you said before, it's like a different kind of teaching now. So I think it's a nice transition. Mm,
Yeah. I think this I have big ideas on a lot of things, and education is one of them, and how to include these elements, meditation as well, like all of this
yes.
emotional intelligence, to
Yeah,
have this in the education system even more for children, right? To
definitely.
really, like, what are we teaching our kids? How to be more stressed out than
Mm.
ever, right? Be stressed
Oh.
out adults from like 6, 7, whatever sports. Are they professional athletes? Why are we yelling at these kids?
Won't
These
someone
kind of
think about the children? No, but
yeah,
yeah, you're right. Like the statistics, I think nowadays, it's 1 in 5 kids will experience anxiety in school, which is crazy. And we all know that depression's on the rise, mental illness is on the rise.
suicide.
But yeah, and I've read that schools in Australia are going to implement EFT tapping into primary schools.
Awesome,
It's happening. Yeah, so it's very
awesome.
exciting. Yeah,
I like
it's happening.
Australia is very health conscious.
Yeah, we do
There's
all
a lot
right
of
down
unhealthy
here.
people, but they lead the way in a lot of global health, in like the physical training is one example where some of the great stuff comes from Australia, just from the people that live there and that are more connected to holistic health, for example.
Well, yeah, and it's coming around the world too. Like my mom's a kindergarten teacher in California, and she had some teacher training in tapping. I don't know if she used it in the classroom, but they definitely were taught in staff development days just to help with their own self-care. So it's happening. It's becoming a lot more popular nowadays, which is very exciting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think this is part of this big change as well. Is like it's not as taboo, right? To have
right.
these kind of conversations anymore, or like emotions. Like we were saying, like some of the stuff that we learned before about
Yeah,
not knowing where are the resources for this. What is the kind of the stuff that's out there, and how many people are teaching it, or how can we access it? So I think we have a lot of great resources, a lot of great people being able to help this diverse range of from kids to 90-year-olds, 90 plus,
definitely.
100, right? Like where's our demographic, and where do we need the most help,
Yeah, definitely. And there's heaps of free videos on YouTube, but it's definitely powerful to work one-on-one because, again, the wording that you associate with the tapping is where it becomes very popular, sorry, very, um, powerful.
Popular within your body.
Yeah.
Everything's the power is, yeah,
That's
popular. That's funny. Yeah, but it is, truly, like, the relaxation, anything that we can do for ourselves to help relax, and then finding the right language, the right
Yeah,
words that we use in that relaxed state is programming. Magic is all this kind of
mm,
thing. So, and
yeah,
that's one of the things that I was grateful for when we went through ours as well, especially the second
yes,
one when we had that flow, right? And when it was
yeah,
really taking the words that I said and you being able to transmute it and then bring it back within the tapping session. So should we do some tapping?
sure. What would you like to tap on? Because we can do anything from just being nervous right now, or that's the cool thing about tapping. It could be about addictions, cravings, phobias, public speaking, limiting beliefs. But for this demonstration, maybe we can something simple.
Something simple. Okay. I have more healing than I'm doing on this side of my body. That I had a big injury. Oh, nah. I think I told you as well that I'm
Is that your
unwinding.
right side?
This is my right side. Yeah.
Mhm.
So we can focus on helping that
The
align,
right side of your
unwind.
ribs?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. So
Is due from an old
my
injury?
default, well, like 2 years ago
Okay.
from
What
doing
happened to it, if you're happy to share?
I was trying to balance on a rail in a forest. It's like an old bridge. So
Oh,
I was
man.
messing around. Yeah, I was playing around.
So a fall.
Yeah, I slipped, so that foot went, and then I hit the railing. Boom. And then I was
Oh,
like off. Milo was playing in the forest, and I was like, okay, first thing, let's get your mind right. Breathe.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And how long is it was it painful for, or is it still painful?
It can still be painful.
It can still be
Mild.
painful.
If I'm not moving it.
Okay.
Yeah. It wants to
Right.
still wants to go that direction.
Okay. And can you feel any pain with it right now?
Not right now. Not in the posture.
Okay.
No.
Fair enough. So no pain right now. That's good. But can you give the pain a rating between 0 and 10 when it is hurting?
What it feels like, instead of pain, it's like restriction. It's like
Restriction.
it wants
Mhm.
to pull me back into that space and then hold me there. I need to
Okay.
be more conscious of it. So as opposed to like pain, it's more, I would say, like a 5 or 6 on that. It wants to
Yep.
pull me into it. If I sit too long, I'll feel it in my hip flexor as well. So it's like everything that responded to that hit, that fold over that bar,
Hmm.
I'm continuing to align and be more aware, or it will. And it's my, because I'm right-handed as well. There is a tendency to go there. Like that's all these connections.
Yeah.
Why I
Yeah.
stepped with
Yep.
that foot, why I fell to that side, like all these kind of things. But
Yep. Okay.
if we
Yeah, I
can
think
help free up some restriction, that'd be great.
yeah. Let's see what we can do. All
Okay.
right. I think we've got enough information to work with for right now. So we start with the sides of our hands when we're doing our setup statement, and we just switch back and forth or whatever feels comfortable to you. So even though I sometimes get some restriction on the right side of my ribs,
Even though I get sometimes some restriction in the right side of my ribs,
yeah, then the crown of our head, yeah, it can affect me.
it can affect me. Yeah, it
Yeah,
can.
the start of our eyebrows. Yeah. This pain on the right side of my ribs.
Yeah, it's pain on the right side of my ribs.
Yeah, temples. Yeah, it happened about 2 years ago.
It happened about 2 years ago.
Yeah, under your eyes. I fell and hit the rail.
Fell and hit the rail.
Yeah, under our nose. So it was quite painful.
It was quite painful.
And then our chin. My hip flexor too.
My hip flexor too.
Yeah, along our chest line and have some deep breaths. I get this restriction sometimes.
I get this restriction sometimes.
Yeah, under our arms. Yeah, I feel restricted at times.
I feel restricted at times.
And top of your ribs. Yeah, it can quite affect me.
It can quite affect me.
Yeah, and the sides of your hips. I'm acknowledging that I feel this way.
I'm acknowledging I feel this way.
Yeah, then shake out your hands and have a deep breath. Yeah. And the first round will sound a little bit negative because we want to let the body acknowledge that, hey, I feel this way. And that's okay because we don't want to suppress the pain. And then usually we'll do another round and turn the wording around more positive, and we can go into what's called the 9 gamut, and we can tap as many times as we need to. And we do a check-in with the pain ratings, whether it's current or past. And yeah, there's lots of other techniques. So that's just a basic example. Yeah, how was that for you, Ryan?
Cool. But I think that
Yeah.
acknowledgement is super important, like
Yeah.
awareness, like bringing it back, not just trying to, like if we guys are traditionally, if I avoid it, if I don't look at it, then it'll go away on its own, right? As
Hmm.
opposed to
Yeah.
bringing it to awareness, what's happened, all these kind of things as well. I think is a great. I have a good understanding of why that's at the beginning of this tapping process, and then you start to change the language along the way as well.
Definitely. And so again, we're meant to use as much
Free
as
it
your
up.
wording as person. Yeah, we gotta free it up. Yeah, we gotta process it. Our bodies need to process it. And just being witnessed by another person is sometimes all it takes as well. So but yeah, tapping
Yeah.
on those meridian points. And then we can do what's called EMDR, so eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. It's a guided eye movement technique to reduce emotional impact. Very powerful as well.
The eye's connection to the brain is really interesting, and all these ways of using that. So there's a lot of
Yeah.
depth to it. It's not just it's the tapping and the guidance along the way. That's why it's great to have a guide, a facilitator, a coach,
Yes.
someone
And
to.
again, that's called the basic recipe, the most simple technique. So there's lots of other strategies that we use. In fact, the strategy that Addison used with me was called the matrix reprinting, and that's a special course on its own. So, yeah, so there's lots of depth to it. But I'm happy just to keep it basic for this right now.
Yeah, like you're going and all of it. It's like going into the mind and freeing up the stuff that's getting stuck there, and then that connection to the the mind sticking the emotions in certain places as well. So being able to
Yeah,
have these creative visualizations or the eyes doing certain things or whatever's coming up to be able to come up and then
yeah.
release.
Yeah, and a lot of people find too why they're tapping, new things will come in and we'll you could tap on that. So you just never know where that journey will take you. It's in fact every session I've had is always unique and different, right? Because us as humans, we're all unique and different. It's
Yeah,
actually quite a beautiful thing to process, like to witness. Yeah,
yeah,
which
cool.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank
What's
you.
what's advice that you give to like some of the skepticism, like those that have heard about it, the fear behind tapping, like these kind of things? Can you address some of the what you've
Yeah.
heard and some of the other common fears that might stop people from just maybe reaching out to you and doing a session?
Yeah. So uh, I'll be quite blunt. If someone doesn't think it's gonna work for them, it's probably not. So again, having that openness to just give it a go, like, what's it gonna hurt? But yeah, I've had friends say that their main fear is that they've had so much on, so much stress and anxiety and overwhelm that they're scared that they're gonna open the floodgates and be a mess. And I've never experienced that. But you know, this is what EFT tapping is all about. The number one thing it does help is overwhelm. And yeah, there's lots of techniques that we can do to work with people to control that and work with it and process it. And one of the easiest things that we show people if they feel they're heading that way is just to hold your forehead and the back of your neck. And that's just that support right there is super powerful. Yeah. And yeah,
The
you
head
know,
hug.
the head hug. Yes, I love that. Oh
Some
my gosh, that's what I'm calling it
self
now.
love head hugging.
Yes. The head hug. There you go. I wrote that down.
That's lovely.
Awesome.
When I was into I went into like, almost like a rehabilitation phase in the physical training portion of my education, outside of
Mhm.
like mental mindset, these kind of things. And a lot of it was the emotional, when I first learned about these emotional connections to pain in the body and holding on to it and doing some of these, it's very simple. You're just hugging your head. You just put your hand, but we don't do it. We're not necessarily taught it, even
Yeah.
like this, right? Crossing the arms,
Mm.
these kind of these kind of positions that can soothe us. Like crossing our
Yeah.
arms is soothing, even though in like body language, oh, it means that they're not listening. It can mean that they're hugging themselves in a certain way, crossing our legs, these kind of things. So, and finding these different
Yeah.
positions, brain buttons, all these kind of things to really help chill out your system, your
Yeah.
energy, the
Yeah.
limbic
The nervous
system,
system.
using
Yeah.
smells, using sounds, the
Oh,
tapping,
yeah. Sound
vibration.
healing.
Yeah,
Mm. Yeah, even just the simple technique of squeezing the sides of your fingernails, like that's
yeah,
another one, if you're in a public space, you can do that easily under the table or just in your lap. And yeah, there's been times when I'm teaching and I just need at break time go into the female bathroom and then do some tapping. And it's just amazing how just a simple 5 minutes. Wow, you walk out of there feeling, "Okay, I got this." It's just something that's free and easy technique you could do anytime. For
beautiful.
example, yeah, I've even, there's been a a time where my son had a tennis tournament and, he had a really devastating loss, and yet he had to play another match, and, I could just see him about to break down, so I'm like, "Alright, time out, buddy." Off we went, found, handicap toilet that we could just both be in there together, and we just did a couple rounds and kept the words simple. Sometimes you don't have to say any words, you could just tap and breathe through it, or all you could just say, this overwhelm," while you're tapping, and that's all it took, and he's like, "Wow, mom, I feel better." And that's the
Mom,
right?
super mom. Yeah, but amazing.
But that's the number one feedback I get is, people feel so much more relaxed, so much more calm, so, yeah, my
But
best piece
why
of
aren't we all
advice.
tapping, people? Come on.
Right. Have a go.
Yeah, but that's what this is about, right? To be able to support that. Once again, it's another path that people can take to take care of themselves, right? To
Yeah,
nourish, to be more aware of their emotions, awareness, like
yeah,
these levels of everyone's own journey towards better,
yeah,
right?
and,
A life
no
of
side
more
effects.
fulfillment. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah, but truly, like that we have the tools to be able to take care of ourselves and go within to be able to heal ourselves in amazing ways.
Exactly. Yeah, it's amazing, it's powerful, and, it's going to be mainstream, like, it is. That's the way it's headed. It's pretty exciting.
As it should be. Yeah. Over over prescribing pharmaceuticals, to be honest, really, right?
I'm with you there.
The more natural, the better, right? Especially in
Definitely.
this, like it's all in our mind. Yeah, that's why mindset matters most for me, right? Like it's all starting in there, and then how we're being able to release, receive, free up, be able to focus, use our mind in all these beautiful ways, and not just be distracted and be led only, right? Feel
Right.
free to do what you want to do. Sing a song. Yeah. Not
Love it.
restricted, right? Less restricted,
Yeah,
more free, more open, more expressing their unique selves.
definitely, and I love how you just touched on a point of, you know, people are self-medicating, whether it's alcohol, drugs or whatever, they're self-medicating because 'cause they're suppressing trauma and pain, so let's try something more holistic, people, like, have a go, like, that
Yeah.
why not? See where it
Yeah.
takes you.
Exactly. Like it's a wonderful journey. Like open the door and then go, and it's this connection I think is great because people have gotten to hear your story, gotten to see like it in action as well. So I hope this will really lower, make that door more easy to walk through for anyone who watches this. So thank you for being here. This is awesome. Like we could just keep
Aw,
we talk about the same things in a variety of different ways, right?
Yeah,
Like
I love it.
all sharing all the connections. So,
Yes.
Elissa, thank you so
Oh,
much for being here today and
Ryan,
taking part of the
thank you.
podcast. Yeah, it's wonderful.
Thank you so much. It was an honor to be here. Thank you so much.
Do you have anything like words of advice that have been with you maybe through your life that you'd like to share? Something, it could be connected to this
Yeah,
or not. There's always a connection, but how would
yeah,
you
definitely.
share something to close out with? Alyssa's
Yeah, so
words of wisdom.
thank you. Yeah, so, I have had a lot of depression and anxiety previous to all of this, which led to my personal development journey. And I say start wherever you feels natural to you. I had to start with just grounding, putting my feet on the earth, and try different things. Not you, right? Everyone is going to react differently to different strategies. So just find what works for you, whether it is tapping or it's aromatherapy or it's acupuncture, whatever, just start somewhere and see where it takes you. And people like you and I are there to support because we've been there ourselves. And
Still
yeah,
going.
reach out. Still, yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
every day
on
trying
the
to be
journey.
1% atomic habits, babe. Like,
Yes. Yeah.
mm-hmm.
But through that evolution,
Yeah.
we're always going to be challenged for growth, pressure to be able to, express more and become more of who we're meant to be, like all these different,
Yeah.
deeper questions. So
Yeah. Well, that's
awesome.
it. Like, yeah, like that a lot of people talk about changing the world and we got to start here, right? If we could improve ourselves here, we start here. And then,
Start with self. Yeah.
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 So here's to changing the world.
Here's the change in the world. Yeah. One step at a time.
Yeah. One day at a time.
Yeah.
We got this.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably do.
Yes.
Nice. Ripple.
High five. Yes. Spirit.
Spirit finger. Awesome. Great way of closing it. Yeah.
Love it. You've been so fun to work with, Ryan. Thank you so
Well,
much.
thank you for being here. Like schedule wise, everything you did to set this up on your end as well is great. So it's a pleasure. And then we'll share all of Alyssa's information, what she shared about who she's been working with as well. Like everything that she wants to include in our description, like we'll have a section for that. So you guys can reach out to her, connect with her, and dive deeper.
Thank you
Free.
so
Free it up,
much.
baby.
You. Yeah. And can I shout out to my sister-in-law, Megan, for her awesome podcast studio in her home, Bellevue Studios here in the Hunter Valley. So
Thanks, Megan.
thank you, Megan.
And Mark Guyver.
Mark Guyver.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good there as well. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. Thanks everyone for tuning in. And like I've kept this open for the authentic conversations to branch off these main episodes. So we hope to bring Elissa back again and go deeper
Thank you.
in wherever we choose to go. So we look forward to future episodes with you. And thanks for watching. Share your comments, sharing is caring, everything out there that they say that you need to do on YouTube to share the love, but we're happy to have you tune in and we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Yeah, hit that like button.
Like it.